Hi everyone, Julie here. So today we're going to study a little bit of French grammar. We're going to see the prepositions of place. So this is going to be exactly like one of the lessons I do with my students when I teach. So it's going to be a bit longer of a video. So, grab a coffee, sit down, get your language notebook or whatever you use to take notes, and let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so how to say what in English would be, to or in French. We're going to use a preposition a. Okay, so it's pronounced a, like the letter A, all right? And this means to or in. So we can use it to talk about places where we are or places where we're going, right? So an example of a sentence would be, je vais à Toulouse. I am going to Toulouse. Je suis à Paris. Okay, I am in Paris. Okay, so these are the like most basic examples, because obviously this becomes a little bit more complicated. There are tons of exceptions, which is why it requires a whole lesson, obviously. So depending on the type of place we're talking about, we are going to use different versions of this a. Okay, so if it's a city we're talking about, we're going to use it like this. So you see Toulouse and Paris are both cities, so we're using a. À Londres, à New York, à Berlin. Any city name? A. Okay, now if we are talking about feminine names of places, we're going to use à la. So at, in, or to, the. Okay, so for example, je suis à la plage. I am at the beach. Okay, tu vas à la boulangerie. Are you going to the bakery? Okay, so plage and boulangerie are feminine, right? So we use à la. Okay, now more exceptions. We are going to use a, L apostrophe, with names of places that start with a vowel. Okay, examples. Il est à l'hôpital. Okay, he is in or at the hospital. There's no difference here. In French, it's the same. What else do we have? Je suis à l'aéroport. Je suis à l'aéroport. Okay, I'm at the airport. All right, at or in. Okay, next exception. So when we are talking about a name of a place that requires the use of le, we are not going to say à le. So here I'm talking names of countries, names of places that require this le. Examples. So sorry, we're not going to use à le, we're going to use au. Never, ever, ever, ever in French will you say à le. This is forbidden, okay? We never say à le, we always say au. All right, it's one of these little contractions of word. There is de le, which becomes du, that kind of stuff, okay? So au plus a name that requires this le, right? So a name of a country, for example. So we'll say elle va au Canada. Okay, je suis au restaurant. So here in this au restaurant, in English, we would translate it as I am in the restaurant. So in this au, there is a the hidden there. Okay, it is a definite article hidden in this au. All right. yeah, we can also use oh, yeah, well, these are a couple of examples. What if the thing we're talking about is plural? Like, for example, some country names like the US, the United States, okay, les États-Unis. This is a plural name. So we're going to add a little X to this O. Let me show you. It's going to look like this, okay? And this means aller. But again, never, ever, ever, ever will you say aller. Oopsies. Okay? Never. Oh. So, for example, elle habite aux États-Unis. Okay? Elle habite aux États-Unis. So, she lives in the USA, in the States. All right? Now, there is another preposition which is different from a, and this is en. En, okay? En. It's a nasal sound, en. And we are going to use this for different things. So let me list it. The continents. Okay, so en Antarctique, en Afrique, en Asie, en Amérique, en Océanie, en Europe. Okay? So all the continents, they go with en. Yes? We are also using this with feminine country names. So as you've heard before, there are some masculine country names and some feminine country names. How to know which one is which? So the feminine country names are the ones with which end in E. Okay, so France, Espagne, Italy, and so on, except, I'm sorry, because like there are exceptions to the exceptions. I'm really sorry, except for le Cambodge, le Mexique. Let's move this over here. Le Mexique, le Mozambique, le, oh, can't see what I'm doing, and le Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe like this. Yeah, I'm not sure there's an accent there. You need to check, okay? So these are country names that end with an E, but they are masculine, okay? All the other ones that end in E are feminine, and the ones that don't end in E are masculine, okay? So we'll say then, en France, en Espagne, en Italie, okay? But we'll say not à le Cambodge, remember, au Cambodge, au Mexique, au Mozambique, et au Zimbabwe. Okay? Now, some masculine country names do go with en if they start with a vowel. Okay? So we have masculine country names that start with a vowel. Yes? And so these go with en. So for example, en Iran, en Uganda, en Uruguay, if I can spell. Okay, so these are country names that are masculine, but because they start with a vowel, they use en, right? Last thing, we have another one, which is chez. So this is pronounced chez. We do not hear the Z sound here. It's chez, okay? And we use this to talk about someone's place, okay? So for example, chez ma sœur, at my sister's, okay? Or we use it to talk about people when we are referring to their profession name, okay? So for example, I'm at the doctor's, I'm at the dentist. So we'll say the same in French, chez le docteur, chez le dentiste, etc. It's not only doctor's name, chez l'avocat, at the lawyers, okay, etc. Right? So this is a lot of information and I know it. So you will find in the link in the description of this video, a link to a PDF with all of this written down, okay? All of these things written down in English. So you have all the explanations with some examples and you can download it for free. And there's also a little exercise in there to practice using them. And my advice on how to learn all of this, because there's so many different rules, my advice is to write down all the places that you either go to often or talk about often. Actually, let me close this. So write down all the places that you're usually talking about, whether it's places you are going, places you want to go, places you've been or you've lived, and go with this little guide, figure out which preposition it is that you should use with those and practice using them in sentences, okay? So that way they will kind of roll off the tongue without you having to think about it too much, because if you have to remember all of this by heart every time you want to talk about a place, it's going to get very, very boring very fast. So just make a list of the common places you're used to talk about and practice them. All right. So anyways, you'll find all the information in the description. And if you have any questions, because I know this is just very abstract. So if you have any question, message me on Instagram, comment below this video, and I will answer as soon as possible. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped and it didn't confuse you even more. And if it did, I'm really sorry. All right. Bye.